So the other day we covered, I believe it was Ted Cruz's speech at the TPUSA America Fest event. And Ted Cruz was very open about the fact that he's going to wage a war on free speech. Very open about that fact. That was like part of his speech. And of course, he centered it around the biggest taboo issue on the right, Israel. They take a tremendous amount of money from AIPAC, tremendous amount of money from Israeli donors. So do the Democrats, by the way. But the right doesn't even bother to try to pay any lip service to like Palestinians being human beings or any lip service to like basic human rights. So Ted Cruz goes out there and he's like, yeah, we're going to crack down on free speech. We're going to wage a war on free speech and nobody's going to be allowed to be pro-Palestine. And I covered that and I said, this is what they have planned. Well, guess what? Now we have this video here. This is Trump's U.S. Attorney General pick, Pam Bondi. Here she is echoing the exact same sentiment. This war on pro-Palestine speech is coming. It is coming. Here we go.
These students in universities in our country, whether they're here as Americans or if they're here on student visas, and they're out there saying, I support Hamas. You and I have seen that on all of these television shows. Frankly, they need to be taken out of our country, or the FBI needs to be interviewing them right away when they're saying, I support Hamas, I am Hamas. That's not saying I support all these poor Palestinians who are trapped in Gaza. That's not what they're saying. So I think their student visas need to be revoked. I think we need to reinstate President Trump's travel ban immediately. There's a lot of things that can be done to stop this. But yeah, the anti-Semitism that is rampant throughout this country now. And it's truly, truly heartbreaking to see what's happening to all of our Jewish friends in this country by really just, I think, a lot of ignorant kids and students and people who don't understand that Hamas equals terrorism, even worse, at its worst.
So what they are going to do is define any sort of pro-Palestine advocacy, define it as a terrorist sympathizing event or an anti-Semitic event, or what you do is you take the most extreme examples you can find and pretend like that's what the whole thing is for, right? So, oh, this is just a pro-Hamas protest or whatever. Define every pro-Palestine protest as that, and then do exactly what she says. Ted Cruz says, cut off all of the federal funding that these schools get if they allow free speech, if they allow a pro-Palestine protest. All their funding's gone. What does that mean? The university is going to call on the cops to crack their skulls. Then she takes it a step further and does what Trump said on the campaign trail, which is, let's deport the pro-Palestine protesters. Anything they can find on anybody that might allow them to say, oh, we're going to revoke your visa, you can't be here anymore. They're going to do it over the issue of Palestine. They're going to do it over the issue of Palestine. So here we have the clearest, most open example I've ever seen of the right saying, forget the First Amendment, forget free speech, forget free protest. We're going to throw the book at you. We're going to bust up the protests. We're going to arrest you. We're going to charge you. We're going to call you terrorist sympathizers. If not just terrorists, we're going to call you pro-Hamas. We're going to destroy your life. You saw those. They had these billboards that would put the face of students who were protesting on it and call them like anti-Semite of the day or whatever, or Hamas supporter or whatever, putting these people's lives in danger as a direct result of it. They're being open about that. And here's my question for you. Where are all those free speech warriors I was hearing from 3 years ago? Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Joe Rogan, all these people who spent fucking Lord only knows how many hundreds of hours bemoaning wokeness and the authoritarian left and the crackdown on free speech and the First Amendment. Weird. Here we have the clearest example of an actual threat to free speech. This is not just some comedian who had their gig canceled because the venue didn't want to deal with the bullshit. This is an actual threat to the Constitution. And where are they? Fucking none of them are saying anything. None of them. What does that say? What does that say about them? You know what it says about them? They never cared about this issue. They never cared about free speech or the First Amendment or free protest. They never cared. Because the real test of whether or not you believe in the principle is, do you apply it on issues where you actually disagree with it? Now, I've passed that test. You know, I've said, hey, I hate Ben Shapiro, but he should be able to speak at a college. Don't ban him. Same with Ann Coulter. Don't ban her. I've passed that test. None of these charlatans have passed that test. None of them. Zero. Because they don't actually care about this issue. They just use it as a tool to try to virtue signal and market the Republicans as being more principled and more pro-free speech. As these are the people who are promising the next great crackdown. And this is to say nothing of what we've already learned about what the right has done on this issue. You know, how many states have anti-BDS laws? You're allowed to boycott the United States in the United States, but not Israel, or you lose any potential government funding that you would have gotten otherwise. That's how it works. Never mind the red states that did flat-out anti-protest laws. We've covered those. There's over 20 of those where they did, Republicans didn't like when you had the Black Lives Matter protests, so they cracked down and passed laws that banned the protest. It's always, oh yeah, we'll virtue signal about loving free speech, unless and until it's an issue where I disagree, in which case, fuck it, we're going to throw the book at you, we're going to deport you, we're going to cut the funding to your university, we're going to send the cops in, we're going to smear you. This is where we're at, guys. This is where we're at. And guess what? Trump's going in there, and Trump is ready to put all this shit on steroids. I'm just telling you right now. That's what he's going to do. All of this stuff on steroids. Because as bad as the Democrats were on this issue, and they were pretty fucking bad, Trump got $100 million from Miriam Adelson and $200 million from Sheldon Adelson back when he was alive. And in return for that, he let Israel completely annex the Golan Heights illegally, which is Syrian territory. This time he's going to let Israel annex the West Bank. He's going to back Israel's war against Iran. And on the domestic front, he will be ruthless. He will be ruthless to appease the Israel donors. He won't allow a peep in favor of Palestinians. God forbid you go out there to say, I'm against carpet bombing babies like they're doing in Gaza. You're public enemy number one in that scenario. So get ready, man. And now there's nothing reining him in anymore, guys. That's what you need to understand. There are no voices to try to temper his worst instincts anymore. They're not there. Any sort of establishment guardrails are gone. The Supreme Court came out and said, yeah, he has basically immunity for anything that could remotely be considered an official act. You know how he interprets that? I can do what I want. He's also just going to put around him nothing but loyalists, right? And every single one of them, one after the other, insanely and terrifyingly pro-Israel. They'll throw out every principle to please their Israel donors. Okay, so this is what's coming. I'm just warning you. Be prepared, because like I always say, it's going to get ugly. All right, y'all. That's the show, man. Sorry to end on such a downer note, but it is what it is. Got to give you the information. Got to give you the news. Nothing else you can really say about it. Everybody do me a big favor. Please subscribe to the channel. That helps out so much. You have no idea. You can do that below right here. You click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. That helps out as well. You could comment, like, all that fun stuff. All that stuff helps out in the algorithm big time. And thank you so much, guys. For those of you who support the show on Patreon, for those of you who tip with the thanks button on YouTube, really, really could not do this without you. We're real independent media. We are. We're one of very few. Never had a conversation with an advertiser or a billionaire. I don't know what is it, 1% of us are like that? 1%, maybe. So we're going to keep it real. And you guys are the boss. Thanks again for supporting the show. If you do, I love you all, and I'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.